Hello friends, see you again in our 2021's drama movie collection, The Harder They Fall. Just before we start the story of this movie, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that you won't miss the updates from our channel. There's a family of 3 which welcomes uninvited guests when they're going to have a meal. Those people come and shoot the wife and husband, which also leaves the son with a cross scar on his face. They also have scorpion tattoos on their hands. Years later, this boy has become a cowboy and made his life mission is to kill people with scorpion tattoos. His name is Nat Love. Some people on horses are bringing money from robbing a bank with them. A cowboy hides between the rockery with a rifle, and when they come nearing he shoots them down. Those robbers are brothers Grimes, and when they're facing the cowboy, another one named Jim Beckworth is coming behind them. He shoots 2 people and the cowboy comes out to bicker with him. They talk about Cherokee Bill who should be a faster shooter than Jim. While they're bickering, one of the Grimes who is still alive is going to shoot them but he fails. Jim and the cowboy then take their money. In Douglas Town, the man with a cross scar is having a rest at Stagecoach Mary's saloon. There's a young boy who stops him and says to leave his gun to drink there, and he does as the rule states. There are other 2 people going inside, but they don't want to leave their guns, and the young boy beats them. The young boy's name is Cuffy. Then Mary's walking with a rifle to the stage and sings a song while watching Nat. After the song, she goes to Nat and kisses him and tells him to leave. She then hits Nat and tells Cuffy to take care of him. Instead of bringing him out, Cuffy tells him where Mary's room is. When Nat gets in Mary's room they talk about one last scorpion man to kill named Rufus. Nat will not be able to settle down before he kills this man. But Rufus is still in jail. Then someone knocks on the door and Pickett comes in. He brings them to the last Grimes that Pickett and Jim haven't killed. The man says that Rufus Buck is going out of jail and the money they robbed from them is his. Hearing this, Nat thinks that the worst thing than killing this man is leaving him alive for Rufus to take care of. So he lets him go. Then, a cowgirl is stopping her horse at the railroad. The train stops and the machinist gets off the train to yell at her. But then the woman shoots him dead. A man named Cherokee Bill then gets on the train with the others. He tells them not to do something stupid, but then a man outdares him. Bill then slashes his feet. On the second carriage, a soldier points a rifle at Bill, but he's not scared. When Bill threatens him to put down the gun, or they will kill the passengers, he obeys. From the soldier, they also know that there are 10 soldiers in the next carriage. Bill then gets close to the door without opening it. He threatens soldiers there to get the rifle down, or he kills the soldier with them. That soldier is the leader's son, so he orders his men to let the rifles down and opens the door for Bill. Bill gets inside with his hostage. When Trudy, the cowgirl, tells the officer to open the door, he says he doesn't have the key. Wrong move, that makes them shoot one of his men. Trudy shows him their agreement with his general to let Rufus Buck and his men go. The price is them killing the officer and his men because they have killed people for silver. The officer then gets the key out and opens the door. He also opens the handcuffs on Rufus. Rufus then shoots him and tells the men to kill all the soldiers except for one who can drive the train. A marshal gets into Mary's bar. Cuffy can't ask for his gun because he insists. Then he talks with Nat then takes Nat out. He says that Nat is responsible for the money robbed from the robbers in Kansas. At Redwood City, Rufus and his gang go to the bank asking about the money that should be robbed from Kansas. The bank says that the money is gone before being stored in the bank. They then change their direction to the sheriff. Rufus beats the sheriff and tells him to leave. In the forest, the marshal lets Nat go. Nat is making a plan with the marshal to catch Rufus, but Nat doesn't want to bring his gang in. So he acts as if the marshal catches him while in fact, he's not. But then, his gang members come out from behind the woods. They've been following them and caught on to their plan. Nat's gang wants to be part of it. And because they keep insisting on it, Nat just let them go together with him to Redwood City. In Redwood City, Rufus and Trudy are getting ready to talk to Redwood's people outside of Trudy's bar. Trudy questioned Rufus about why he left Redwood management to Wiley. Wiley is the corrupted sheriff that Rufus had beaten up before. Rufus says that Wiley was loyal to him at that time. Now because Wiley wants to sell the city and people's businesses to the highest bidder, Redwood people will be harmed. For this, Rufus will be able to protect them for $50,000 as tax money. One of the people there refuses to pay tax and will leave the town. Rufus kills him and makes him an example for other people. Finally, they agreed to give tax money for $15,000. Trudy says that they have to pay this amount or they and their loved ones will be killed. Wiley, who's on his way, is stopped by Bass the Marshal and Nat Love's gang. Wiley gives them an overview of how the Redwood is now. They also talk about how Wiley makes a deal with people about Rufus so that he can become a sheriff and sells the town. Now that Rufus is back, he's out of town. At night, they're talking and getting ready to keep going tomorrow. Mary tells Nat that she's going to Redwood to get information, but Nat disapproves. Nat then gives Mary a ring and says that it was given from his father to his mother. Mary rejects the ring. She says that they're going their own way after the mission is done. On the Redwood, Mary can meet with Rufus in Trudy's bar successfully. But her cover is found. Rufus hits her with the butt of the gun. When she wakes up, Trudy is with her. She tells her a story about her sister Mary and Hope, who hates Mary and hurts her. Hope finally dies and also Mary. In this way, Trudy says that she must also die. Then someone behind her strangles her. When Trudy says that she should die, but not now, the man lets her go. Mary is thrown into the street. If no one takes her until tomorrow, then they will kill her. At this time, Nat Love comes with his gang, Cuffy and Bass. Nat asks Trudy where Rufus is, or they won't get the money. Trudy then says that Nat should stay while his people go, or else they will kill Mary. Nat agrees to that, and Bass orders Pickett to let his gun down. Mary is then put in jail and Nat is left hanging while Trudy's man hits him. Mary seems sad because of this, and Trudy, who sees that, lets the man leave it at that. After the man and Trudy leave, Nat asks Mary if they beat her. When Mary doesn't answer, Nat is angry and he says that he will kill them all. Then comes Rufus in while whistling. He lets Nat free from ties. The ring that Nat's going to give Mary is also coming off, and Rufus takes it with him. He says that he leaves Nat with the scar so that Rufus's people will recognize him when Nat comes to them. He also says that he will let Mary if he gives his money back by Friday with an extra $10,000 as interest. He can get the money by robbing a bank. Nat Love, who's only known as someone who robs from robbers, will be made to rob a bank to save Mary. Rufus also gives him a box which inside is the knife used to slash Nat's forehead. Back in the gang, Nat tells them the plan to rob Maysville's bank. People have to recognize him and let him be a new robber. Rufus didn't let his people do this because he wants to be clean from any crimes. For this, Nat lets Cuffy change to a skirt. Cuffy is a girl, and for Mary, she's willing to dress like a girl so that they will easily be recognized when robbing the bank. In the Maysville bank, people look at them weirdly. That's because it's white people's town, and black people like them are conspicuous. At first, Cuffy is nervous and uncomfortable because she's in a woman's clothes. But when she's talking to the teller to withdraw money, the teller laughs at her and ridicules her. Cuffy then points the gun at her, and she knows that Cuffy's serious. After that, Nat Love together with Cuffy get the money they need and leave the bank without killing anyone. Before gone, he didn't forget to leave his name to the manager of the bank. Even though they already had the money, Bass says that Rufus will still kill Mary after he gets the money. He will also leave Nat alive to make him devastated. And Nat has already understood that characteristic about Rufus. Suddenly, there's someone who comes behind them. When they point their gun that way, it's actually Wiley. He brings them weapons to help them kill Rufus. Wiley wants Redwood to be back as his, and that's why he chooses to team up with Nat Love. On the promised day, Nat Love and the gang are back at Redwood with the money Rufus demands from them. The money is in the carriage that Bass drives. He then talks to Bill to distract him from Pickett, who knocks Rufus's sniper to the ground, and as a change, he takes a post there. Then after that, the carriage with the money in it explodes. Bill is angry to get deceived by them. At this time, Nat Love appears. Rufus inside Trudy's bar is staring at him from afar. Together with Nat Love, another open carriage with the real money on it is following behind. Rufus is holding Nat's ring while monitoring them from the second floor of the building. Bill's going to count the money, but Nat won't let him without seeing Mary first. Then Trudy brings Mary out with her. Nat then lets Cuffy let go of the carriage while he's walking to Mary. Then he gets that Bill behind him is pointing his gun at Nat. Nat then calls Beckworth, who's behind Bill, and also points his gun to Bill. This gets Bill to lower his gun. Bill then says to Beckworth that Nat will be dead for sure, but Beckworth can choose to leave. But he doesn't take that as an option. So they will have a match as to who's the faster gun shooter between them. Then they will count to 5 and shoot at the same time. But when Beckworth still counts to 3, Bill shoots him. This makes the gang angry, and Nat says to Jim to blow the money up. And he shoots the explosives in the carriages, which burn all the money that Rufus wants. Trudy says to kill them, and here comes the shooting war. Trudy is running away while shooting Mary. Mary gets a cover from a dead man, and she takes his gun to shoot back at Trudy. They then run out of bullets at the same time. Trudy then leaves Mary and Nat comes to Mary to give her a rifle. They shoot the enemies back to back. Then Mary gives chase to Trudy. When she gets to Trudy, they both put down their guns and start the fight. Nat, Pickett, Cuffy, and Bass also have their own fights. Finally, Mary hits Trudy's head with the butt of a rifle and leaves her at that. Nat gets shot on the shoulder by a member of Grime Brothers, which then gets killed by Bass. Wiley is inside Trudy's bar with explosives to kill Rufus. After Bass pulls Nat to find cover, Nat then asks for fire for his cigar. But then the explosive that is set by Wiley blows the building up. After hearing the sound, Nat blows the match off. Rufus gets down to where Wiley is. He says that he knows that Wiley is the one who reports him. Wiley says that he has no choice, but then Rufus shoots the explosives in Wiley's hand and it blows him up. Some Grime Brothers members come to the scene and they're shooting Nat and Bass's hiding place. This makes Nat recall his memory of when Rufus made the scar on his forehead. He's getting angry and gets out of his hideout to kill the Grime Brothers. Bass follows him up. They then see the place where Jim laid down. Nat pulls him up. On one of the buildings, Pickett gets down and meets Cuffy, who's loading her bullets. They have a little talk and Pickett reaches into his pocket where his lucky coin is. The coin is shot, so it has protected Pickett. But then, there's a gunshot and Bill gets out from behind Pickett. Cuffy witnesses all of this and screams as Pickett is taking his last breath. Pickett turns his back and sees Bill in the eye, and Bill has no regrets at all and shoots Pickett again until he's down. Cuffy is angry and she says whether Bill will also shoot her before she counts to 5 or even shoots her from behind. Bill then holsters his gun and so does Cuffy. They don't count and then there's a gunshot. Bill is shot on his neck and Cuffy says that Beckworth was faster. Bill then gets out of the building and dies on the street. Rufus is witnessing all of this from the building. Nat then leaves a gun on Jim's body and tells Bass to take care of him. He then goes to the building where Rufus is. Before going in, Bass says to Nat not to miss his shot. When he gets inside, he finds Rufus sitting still there. Nat tells Rufus to pick his gun, but then Rufus just keeps talking. He asks whether his father was a good man and Nat says that he was. And then Rufus tells a story about his childhood. About his bad father who kills his mother and leaves him when he's 10, the same age as when Rufus gives him the scar. He says that he then finds his father and takes revenge. But at that time his father turns a new leaf and changes his name from Buck to Love. It means that they're brothers. They have tears in their eyes. Nat, who can't kill him at first, then still shoots Rufus. He rummages through Rufus's body and takes his ring. When he gets out, Mary is there and he hugs her. Then there are 3 graves with the names of Jim Beckworth, Bill Pickett, and Nat Love. Mary says if people would believe that Nat is dead, and Bass says that if he says so people will believe. Mary then asks if Cuffy really wants to be an officer and she says yes. Cuffy then kisses Mary And Nat was left stunned seeing this. Mary and Nat then go on their horses. And someone sees their departure while holding a hat with the same design as Trudy's. And that is the end of the Harder They Fall movie. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on the notification bell to keep the updates from our channel. See you in the other movie story and bye.